fight fans. So Lomachenko is officially out. According to Benson, he is no longer in talks. The talks are officially off as Lomachenko wants to take some time off of boxing. Kind of sounds reminiscent of when he wanted to take some time off of boxing when he fought, when he was supposed to fight Shakur Stevenson for the WBC belt. Now he wants to take some time off versus Tank. Now, there are speculations that Tank was asking for $30 million guarantee, and that was way too high of a price. But Tank is technically the second biggest attraction in boxing behind Canelo Alvarez. So if he's asking for 30 million, sure, that might be a lot, but to just call it off, I don't know. Maybe they should have been more negotiation there. Maybe there was, and we don't know, or I'm not aware of it. But definitely a bummer, considering that would have been a massive fight for Tank Davis. However, Tank has already proven that he can cross the 1 million pay-per-view buy mark as long as he has a marquee fighter across the ring from him. Now, at 135, there is absolutely no one else that he would want to fight or should want to fight than Shakur Stevenson, because Shakur Stevenson would actually give him a higher pay-per-view buy number than Lomachenko, believe it or not. Why? Because Shakur Stevenson gets higher TV ratings than Lomachenko. Lomachenko versus Kambosos, two known fighters, did not have better viewership than Shakur Stevenson versus Artem Harutyunyan. And that's crazy because Artem is not a super known fighter and Shakur Stevenson was being deemed a boring fighter. So it doesn't matter why you watched, you still tuned in. There is interest. Something is still pulling you to watch the fight. Now, Shakur Stevenson is 100% ready to fight Tank Davis. Tank Davis has alluded to now going down a list where they will be fighting those guys and trying to collect the belt. Shakur Stevenson has a belt, and Shakur Stevenson is the most profitable person that he can fight. Now, there are other options there. He can do an Isaac Cruz rematch, which some people are calling for. I personally don't think that it is necessary. Sure, he didn't knock him out, but I mean, it is what it is. He doesn't need to fight him again, in my opinion. Not everything is going to be a knockout. He could just move on to bigger and better things. Do I want to see a rematch, or do I want to see him fight somebody new? I would much rather pick him fighting somebody new. So the 135 belt, there is another name out there, or another belt holder out there, but Shakur Stevenson and Lomachenko are the two most popular belt holders. So if in fact Tank wants to collect the belts, if in fact Tank is one of the belt holders, he is currently a actual world champion right now. If in fact he wants to collect the belts, if in fact he wants to do great pay-per-view numbers, the only two people that would make sense to do that at 135 would have been Lomachenko or Shakur Stevenson. With Lomachenko out of the picture, there is no other clearer path towards a Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson fight that we've ever had in the history of them two coming close to fighting. This is the closest. He had his Frank Martin fight. There's a link between Frank Martin and Shakur Stevenson, considering that Shakur Stevenson was almost about to fight Frank Martin, but Frank Martin pulled out on the 11th hour. So we have Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson for the WBA championship, for the WBC championship, to unify the titles, to be unified champion at 135. Massive fight. This fight, bigger than any possible fight, in my opinion, that Tank can make. Maybe a Ryan Garcia rematch is maybe goes a little bit higher in terms of viewership than the Shakur Stevenson fight. However, Ryan Garcia is suspended currently and won't be able to fight this year. So the best possible choice is Shakur Stevenson. There's no other choice. They even alluded to, one of his coaches even alluded to fighting Shakur Stevenson, that Lomachenko is taking a step aside or whatever. He don't have to take any step aside. He's just stepping aside because he doesn't want to deal with this fight. The talks are off. So Tank versus Shakur is perfect now. It is perfect. And this is a beautiful fight because it doesn't matter if you think Shakur is boring or not. You're going to tune in. If you hate Shakur, you're definitely going to tune in because you tuned in hating Shakur to watch Shakur fight Artem. Even though you're going to try to cap and say that you didn't do that, you did do that because he had the most viewership out of any boxing event in 2024. So you tuned in to see Shakur Stevenson be boring, right? Because you just don't like him that much because you want to see him lose. You want to, meme him and all that stuff. So you tuned in for that. Now, imagine Tank, where people think that Tank will actually knock Shakur out. This is like, a gift from the heavens to a lot of people that don't like Shakur Stevenson. So you're definitely going to tune in for this. And for Tank Davis to fight Frank Martin and do around 300,000 to around 325,000, 350,000 pay-per-view buys, that means that Tank Davis is super marketable for pay-per-view, even in the pirating era, right? So he probably did 600,000 pay-per-view buys if you considered all the pirating that could have gone down from that fight. But still, 300,000 within this new era, 1.2 million within this new era is actually phenomenal and incredible. And he's able to do that, right? He's able to pull those numbers. So with the Shakur Stevenson fight, it could easily get up to 700,000 pay-per-view buys, maybe even crack 1 million, but we have to start looking at the numbers going into the fight. What are the numbers in terms of like their 24/7 all access episodes? What are the numbers in terms of the social media, Twitter space, or even YouTube, where the hashtag is being used leading up to the fight? How much is the hashtags being used? What are people saying? How many people are getting engaged with the with this fight? And then we will know what's the numbers on the press conferences. Then we will know how big the fight truly is, and if it was able to crack 1 million or get to 700,000. So this is massive. It looks like literally the path is perfectly clear for a Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis showdown. I personally believe that Shakur Stevenson will win this fight. I know a lot of people just consider knockouts as the only thing that matters in terms of somebody's ability to win. But Floyd Mayweather is a perfect example of why that doesn't necessarily matter. Floyd wasn't a person during his second half of his career where he was knocking people out, but he was fighting people who knocked people out. He was fighting the Miguel Cottos of the world, the Canelo Alvarez's of the world, however, the Manny Pacquiao's of the world, but it didn't matter. He neutralized all of them with skill. So I can't wait for this. And all the people that love Tank should also want this fight, I would imagine. But I keep seeing in my comment section where people are saying that Shakur doesn't deserve to fight Tank. I don't understand it. They rather see Artem fight Tank. It doesn't, it doesn't make sense, right? They would rather watch an Artem fight Tank than to watch, Tank fight Shakur, just to compare and contrast as opposed to actually just have them fight. It's a very bizarre thing. If you feel so confident about your guy beating Shakur Stevenson, then you should be super happy about the numbers that Tank Davis is going to pull on a fight like this. And you should be super happy that he's finally going to embarrass somebody that you don't like. But it's almost like the back of your brain is telling you something different about what's going to go down in that fight. Anyways, I have Shakur Stevenson winning that fight. if they were to fight. Maybe even getting a stoppage, considering that when the level of competition is raised and a person's there to actually win against Shakur Stevenson and not there to just survive, Shakur Stevenson has way more open opportunities to apply way more effective offense on them. So anyways, I cannot wait. This is actually exciting news. I'm super hyped for this. This is unbelievable. I did want to see the Lomachenko fight. I'm not gonna lie, but to be able to see the Shakur Stevenson versus Tank fight this quickly, this much more fast this way, I think this is even better. To be quite honest, is even better. And remember, we predicted it here that they would fight in 2024. We had the video. We predicted that they would fight in 2024, and it's looking like that's going to happen, which is actually insane. Anyways, until the next one, guys, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. Are you bummed out? Did you want to see him fight Lomachenko? Or are you excited for the possibility, for the potential of Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis to have a showdown that everybody's been waiting for? Two undefeated, young guys trying to be considered pound for pound one of the best in the sport. Is that more exciting to you than a Lomachenko? Or are you in fear that the Lomachenko fight won't happen, nor the Shakur Stevenson fight will happen? Let me know down in the comment section below. And of course, as always, I'll see you in the next one.